Boom. This is Ecclesia Kenya podcast. And we are all about identity, mindset, and culture. We want to make sure that we actually discover the identity of true leadership. And we would like also to change the mindset of how people view leadership, because there is a way it has been changed in a way that is not pleasant and is not working for us. As well, we want to create a new culture that works for us, because for anything to be able to give us fruits, we must make it a culture. So my name is Samuel Mwangi, a leader, a strategist, and a speaker on matters leadership. And today I am with my very good friend Manze. Tumetoka naye mbali. So I'd like for us to be able to create a conversation with him concerning true leadership. Give us an introduction, bro.
Hello people, my name is Kingston Ashira. I'm a very good friend to Sam, who's also a very good friend to me. And I'm very, very favored, blessed. I'm very humbled to do this with Sam.
It's an honor. It's a great opportunity to have you around. So Kingston will help me create the conversation. So how do you want to for us to run this thing, Kingston?
So today, Sam, we want to deal with this issue, our very own issue.
Yeah.
As you all are aware.
Yeah.
Many of us tumepitia system fulani in 844.
Bana.
In our 844 system, for those of us who have gone through this system,
yes,
there's some benefits that we have had from the system, as well as some demerits. Yes. Some of us believe in the system, some of us don't believe in the system. Now today, Sam, we want to know from you, from the horse's mouth, do you believe in the 844 system? What do you think was, probably let's start from this actually, Sam, from your own accord, what was the primary goal of this system, the 844 system?
First of all, me honestly, I've gone through this system personally, but I am not very sure what the aim was. There's something that you had found there. About, please read, because me I have an issue with what it achieved, because I don't think it achieved what it was supposed to need. I just want you to read it the way it was planned to operate. Have you found it?
Yes.
I read it.
So the primary goal of the 844 Kenyan education system, introduced in 1985,
yes,
was to transition from an academic focused curriculum to a practical, skill-oriented one that fostered self-reliance. It aimed to equip learners with vocational skills for immediate employment and to build a unified national identity.
Yes.
Maneno makubwa. Now you know. Sorry, very sweet words.
Yes.
So Sam, do you believe out of what we have just read, has the system been able to achieve its primary goal? Yeah, on paper. Because this was on paper. Yeah. What about practical?
Yeah.
The practical bit of it.
So according to me, I believe that this education system, there's a level of success that it has been able to achieve. There's a level of skills that it has been able to give those that have went through it. For example, like for me, I was able to acquire skills like being able to communicate, be able to read and write, because sini wale wase tulienda shule ya ujui kusoma ujui kuandika, so it gave us that ability to be able to write and all. But you realize that in any place we need to get different skills depending on what you came on earth to do. For example, in terms of skills kama za accounting na nini, after now umemaliza primary, umemaliza high school, umeenda form 4, watu kama kuwa lawyer, accountant, nini, such skills in a way imeweza kupatia wase wenye walikuwa wanahitaji kwenda that in those courses. But you realize that many people will not end up in those courses. So success ya 844 mimi naweza sema ni around hapo, ni kipi percentage. Mimi naweza sema 844 imework 20%. It is 20% successful. Bro.
20%.
This is according to me. This is not any statistic that is outside there.
Yes.
According to me, I think imeachieve to 20%. Because ukiweza cheki, the reason I'm saying this, is because one, kuna watu wame go through this system, they have been able to enter into working space, right? But now wanaweza kutumia hiyo skills kuingia huko. But sasa kuna watu wengine pia wenye wame go through your system na hiyo skills imewapea is not enough. Have you ever had a company CEO saying that when everyone that we have employed, we had to train them first? We trained them for 6 months, or we trained them for 2 weeks, we trained them. So if I have given you the right skills when you're going through schools, why should I now give you why should I train you again? You should come straight when you're working.
Yes.
You know? Yes. So that's why I'm saying it has 20% successful. But now we need to discuss about the 80%. Okay. For you, has it worked for you?
No, Sam. No way. You know, as you're speaking and you said many CEOs, whenever they tell people to come to work, those people get to be trained so that they can start their work. And then I realized, when the Chinese come to our country, the engineers, the Chinese engineers, do they go to school? Do they go to our universities in Kenya so that they can build our roads?
Of course
they don't. No. But when our people go there, whatever education you've earned from Kenya, it's not recognized.
Forget about it.
You have to start afresh. Meaning, our primary goal of our education system was not actually met. Maybe theirs was. The Chinese people, and that's why I think I don't agree with it having reached threshold of 80%. As you have said, it's true. The 20% imefikisha. Plus, when we look at there's something I think we should read again to the viewers. Wakumbuke. You guys need to remember what was I think I've lost it, but it said the primary goal was to equip learners with skills in order to be ready for immediate employment.
So basically you're training people to be employees. You're not training them to be employers.
Yes.
All right. So I think that's why many people in this country, when they finish not Form 4, though some Form 4, others when they finish Form 4 they start looking for jobs.
Yes.
Others when they finish a campus they start looking for jobs. But this education system has not been able to train men that when you finish now Form 4 or university, you can be able to start building up on something that you're trained to do. For example, right now you realize that like what is flourishing right now, like what are the top industries right now?
IT is one of them. IT is flourishing. We also have, honestly, engineering is because of the constant infrastructure growing in our country. I think any jokes too, but politics in our country is really flourishing.
Kingston, so let's look at it this way. For example, in terms of IT, I have come to notice that education system yetu imekuwa ikitu train cooperate systems, haijakuwa ikitu train create systems. This is why you realize that if you go to study, for example, IT right now, you'll be trained how to use those systems. But you will not be trained. For example, have you ever seen a school training people how to make laptops, to make phones?
No.
To make TVs?
No way.
To make it to build houses?
No way.
Do you know there are no schools like that? For example, if right now you hear there's a school that is training people on how to build in Kenya, you realize there's no a structure that is being built there.
Yes.
It's purely theory. And remember that when you go to the job industry, all right, or to the marketplace, you realize that here it is skills that speak. It is your records that speak. What have you done? For example, if I want to give you a job to build my house, I'll ask you, how many houses have you built?
Yes.
But now, issue ikupei skills. Inakupea nini? Theory. So many people come out of school with so much theory. We are all victims of this. Even those guys that are succeeding, by God's grace, walienda sijui company fulani ikawa train. And if you notice, many people who have started their own companies, they are first worked in another company. So this education system has not been able to make you in a way that you can get out kama umeanza your company. It has not built you to start your own company. For you, you'll only know how to run a company in another company.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And so, because of that, I want it to also does it mean that our people are not capable of starting things of their own? For example, when it comes to IT or it comes to housing, let's start with IT. IT, when our people go to school, they're taught about HPs, they're taught how to, get around HPs, get around MacBooks, get around, you call them Dell, all those things. Yeah, I know it's very vital to understand these computers, because maybe from the origin that they came from, because of course it's not Africans who discover the computers, but does it mean that when our people are taught how to operate these machines, now can they get to a position where they are taught how to make theirs? And if not, if they are capable, because that's one question I've asked you. Are people capable or not? And if they are capable, then why are they not being taught how to do these things? Be it housing, be it IT.
You know, they are capable, and that's what they are fearing. They are fearing the fact that you are capable, because if you now, we train you to be able to make your capability productive, you will come and compete with them. So that's all John Sidabli akisema, this poverty is manufactured, because I say wataki you succeed. Niko nimekusha kitu before. Kuzuki rise. Sema sasa tuko train ku build computers. Kuna wase hao ndio supply computers Kenya. Kuna msee ndio computers majua analeta Kenya. So wewe uje unajua kutengeneza computer bro, alafu yeye biashara iko yake sasa. Na ujue obviously yako itakuwa cheaper. Haya, ukiamua sasa unataka ku start something like that, they'll make sure that your nini make sure vitu fulani ziko high. For example, Kenya vitu zingine kama cost of electricity is so high. So unapata production cost yako inakuwa so high to the fact that hautaweza kurise. So what's the problem? So there are two problems that you're experiencing in our country right now. One is, our biggest problem is actually leaders. That's our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is not our ability to be able to do these things. For example, I was being told about a story of someone that alikuwa ameanza kutengeneza helicopter. Atumse alikuwa ameanza kutengeneza helicopter kali sana. Umse walimsabotage wakamsabotage mpaka wakamake sure I make more helicopters. You know, so we have our first problem is our leaders. They are not intentional, and they don't want such kinds of people to rise. So that one, there's a place will come and leaders. So what's the solution for these guys? What this kind of leaders? They need to be replaced, because they know the solution, but they don't want the solution to be implemented because it will replace them.
Okay.
So they are fearing replacement.
Okay. So if these leaders need to be replaced, then an idea comes to my mind, and in line with the values of Ecclesia community, where we speak integrity, we speak mindset, we speak culture, then it's through our people that the leaders get elected. So meaning that these leaders who have been there consistently every other time who have not been able to achieve what we want to be achieved, they of course have a certain bad character that makes them do these things. What are these bad characters, if we may say, that we should point out that are in these bad leaders or in this bad leadership that should that our people should be very careful of, not to choose other leaders who have this certain character? What would you say, Sam? Are they integral? What kind of mindset do they have? What kind of culture are they practicing? What would you say, Sam? Let's get down to the bottom of this. Yeah.
Unajua, any building that is experiencing issues, for example, if you see a house that is shaking, you know, it is imekaa hivi imeinama nika inataka kuanguka. The problem is the foundation. So the foundation of everything determines how something looks. For example, you know, the foundation of Kenyan politics, of Kenyan leadership is very bad. For example, Nona Kenya ikianza after independence, the first thing that leaders started doing was grabbing land. They were taking land from people. So they were taking all kinds of, though the biggest resources that was then was land. So foundationally, your politics Kenya was corruption. Then these leaders, the same leaders, were the ones who were mentoring the young leaders. So unasikia sijui the first president, sijui he mentored this, his party mentors these leaders. Mentorship yao, the people they were looking up to, they had stolen land, they had grabbed land ya citizens. So they now learn from them that the first thing ukiingia kama mwanasiasa, iba tu shamba hapa, iba kashamba, nyang'anya nani shamba pale, vitu kaa hizo. So ukiangalia hivi viongozi wa sai, mtu akiingia anataka akone na nyumba Karen na akone nyingine ushago. Ndio. Alafu anyang'anye siji nani shamba hapa, aende achukue kale ka public land pale. So the foundation was wrong. You know?
Yeah.
So when you are talking about now mindset, identity and now culture, is that we need to change these three things. First, you have to understand identity in terms of the original identity of leadership. What was it? And if now you want to check to correct foundation, look at another foundation that was strong. The foundation that is recommended for us is the foundation that Jesus was able to set. The example that Jesus was able to set was that an example that was selfless. So Jesus was able to make so many things belong to him, but he was always someone that was about people. So the first thing that leaders should be able to understand that people who are supposed to be selfless, not selfish. Yes. Not trying to gather everything to yourself, but trying to gather everything towards people. You know, we were discussing with Ronnie here, and we were saying, do you know, if a politician decides today that he doesn't want a salary, he doesn't want anything from government, I'm telling you, he'll have everything. Sasa hivi msikia tu kiongozi wenu sijui achukuangi salary, sijui ati ajanuliwa gari na gava. Unaona tu wananchi wote wanaamua, wewe tutampelekea, mimi nampelekea gari, mimi nampelekea sijui nini. Will make this person atakuwa na vitu more than kama na take salary. Kwa nini? You realize that this life, when the more you are selfless, the more you have more. The more you're selfish, you might think that you're having more, but you're not having much. Asa tukatumia example. Sasa nianze kukupatia kitu. Anything nakupea unashikilia. Anything nakupea unashikilia. Anything nakupea unashikilia. Anything nakupea. By the time nakupea vitu kama 20, hautakuwa na mali ya kureceive tena. But anytime nakupea kitu unapeana. Anytime nakupea kitu, hakuna siku stop kuchukua. Because everything nakupea inaenda. Na remember, hiyo kitu yote umepeana, it will be associated with you. It will be said that it came from you. So many things will be credited to you more than if you decided to hold these things. So many politicians, their first business is, let me amass a lot of wealth, let me amass a lot of money for myself. But no one is thinking, so we need to change that kind of culture, that kind of mindset. It needs to be changed. All right. For example, anyone that becomes a leader, he becomes an example for the next generation. You're talking about our sewamishikuwa hapa. These guys are our biggest problem. Manze awase easy example wamesay sijui familia nani. Awase ndio wamemes inchi vibaya sana. Wasi unapata mse akona na, do you know there's a family in Kenya, I want to mention, their land iko almost a county mzima, land yao tu. County, bro. Almost a whole county ni land ya hiyo family peke yake. Imagine. The same leader, he's saying that I want to solve the problems of Kibera, bro. Unataka kusolve problems za watu hawana land. You want to take a salary from these guys when you want land and still steal from them. I think ni jana I was having a conversation with a certain guy. Alikuwa tunasema, imagine there's a leader in this nation that nyumba yake amepewa na gava, gari zote amepewa na gava, like traveling expenses zote za gava, food ya familia yake na bibi yake na watoto wake, hadi security government. Imagine that person still bado anaiba. Then he steals money from Kenyans. Does it even make sense? Bro, like you're living everyone's dream. Like everyone wants to travel, everyone wants to have a big house, or even have one house or two houses. So you have umepewa government house. You have everything that you could ever need. If you want to see the president of US right now, you make few calls, you go. Like you have everything that everyone dreams of having. So for example, me, if I'm working to get money, I'm working to get money to pay my rent. I'm working to make sure I eat. I'm working maybe to maybe travel kidogo, buy a car. You, all that is given to you. Then you still steal from this guy mwenye ana hata boba. Imagine someone who is homeless, you're stealing from them. Even your medical is paid for, but you steal money that belongs to medical nini ya huyu mse. You still steal that money. What's the problem with you? What's the problem? So such people, and we see them every time. And apparently the problem with Kenyans, when you steal, you are made famous. Then they give you a position. You remember this person who stole money from NYS? We all know her. After stealing money from NYS, we will make you our governor. You will steal for us and bring it to us. My friend, you're forgetting she'll be managing your own money. She won't steal money from elsewhere. She'll be stealing money, your own money. So how do we make thieves our leaders? How did we get here? How blind did we get to be able to reach a level where we know this one is a thief? We vote for them. We know this person killed people in 2007. We vote for you. What went wrong?
I think along the lines, I think people just gave up. But sababu, if you look at it closely, when it comes to a point when people say, unajua hakuna mtu waibi, there's no one who doesn't steal, but I'd rather go with the person who steals and still does work as opposed to that one who steals and does no work. No. I think that's when we started losing our people.
I'm telling you. Acha nikwambia like ni mtu moja. There's always someone who cannot steal anything from anyone. I'm telling you the truth. These people are there, and they have always been there, but we don't focus at them. That's why we say we have to change this mindset, and we have to change this culture. This culture is eating us up. We have to change. You can't give bro. If right now you've opened a business, and you have two options: either to keep doing the business till it succeed, or stop the business. Because if you stop the business, there is no probability of you being rich. But if you continue, at least one day you can make some good profit if you continue doing it. So for us, we can't give up and say, we are settling with this thing. I like what Morara says. Morara says that the problem of this nation is not only leaders. In fact, the biggest problem in Kenya is us, the citizens.
Yes.
Because the first article number 1 ya constitution inaongelea about the sovereign power lies with us. So imagine the bad leaders that are in power, they are the products of our own
decisions,
our own choices, our own decisions.
Yes.
So the first person that is doing Kenyan justice is us, the citizens. So that's why when we change the mindset, we change everything. If we change how we look at how we elect leaders, we change everything. So we have to go back to there. We look, what's the identity of a true leader? How does a true leader looks like? What is the description of a good leader? Yes, these are the descriptions of a good leader. According to the description of a good leader, tuangalia wase kwa gava. Huyu mse anasimama. Huyu ako nayo. Acha nikwambie, already criteria number 1 ya good leader inatoa our leaders wote wenye sayo kwa hizi machama. Kiongozi anatukana mtu, red flag. Biggest red flag. For example, sasa tukikuwa tushatangaza clearly. In fact, every Kenyan, even their own child, their own son. In fact, imagine you can fail to support your dad because he's doing wrong. So in Kenya, I'll support, you're my dad, I'll support you. You're stealing money from, I'll support. No, you should be like, my friend, you're my dad. I know you're my biological dad. But when you start stealing resources of Kenyans, no, it's hapo tunamalizana nayo.
Yes.
Ikifika place ya you're my friend, Kingston, you're my friend. But ikifika mali unaanza kuibia Kenya, inakuwa zi. That's where we need to get. That's why we need, if we don't get there, try make it.
And some speaking of that, do you think that we should actually come up with some certain rules and regulations which also dictate that our leaders, starting with our leaders, watoto wao, their very own children, they should not be taking their children to study abroad when we have an education system inside, because this topic that we're talking about, it's all come from the 844 systems, you know. The benefits and the demerits of our own education system. And I'm thinking, Sam, what do you think if our leaders were not to be allowed to take their children to study abroad, but instead use our very own education system? Do you think that some of these things, they will be in a position to change them?
You know, nani pia John Sidabile alikuwa anasema hata mambo ya kwenda usimu siende nje, kama tukukufa tukufie wote hapa sababu simu imeharibu medical system, acha tukufie hapa. Let me tell you, rules are not the best way of managing a place. Honestly, the best place of managing a nation or even a company is not rules. I'm telling you the truth. That's why ukiangalia, even in the Bible, Paul talks about grace. You know, he talks about grace. You not being under the law, but you operating within grace. Unajua tunaweza amua sahi tuanze kuset strict rules, but rules will limit us. For example, everyone desires that I can take my child to another. Unaweza decide sahi taking to another school is not a problem. Is taking to abroad is not a problem. It's not a bad thing. But now, when we take them outside because we have destroyed hapo ndo shida inakuwa. Hiyo kitu inaweza kuwa solution, but is a temporary solution. It's not a nini. The best solution, if we all have a good motive towards our nation, good intentions towards our nation, hiyo ndo the best solution. If we decide not to be selfish, but to be selfless, such things. Unaona, tufike mahali uko free kupeleka mtoto wako abroad, but hiyo usifanye ati uharibu ya hapa juu mtoto wako asomee hapa. Hapana, wacha ikue unaweza peleka mtoto wako huko majuu asomee huko, iko sawa. But now pia tutengeneze hapa, sababu kuna wenye wanasomea hapa. Inaweza kwa mtoto wako unataka tu aende asome huko nje, unaget, unataka tu uko na exposure tofauti. Hata wa majuu anaweza amua, I want to bring my child to study in Africa, in Kenya. At least hiyo room ifai kufungwa, because it will limit us. It will break a certain level of freedom. Hawezi jibamba na nchi yote unataka. Unajua unaweza taka kwenda in another nation, not because that your nation is bad. Unaweza taka tu kwenda because it's a different experience. So I don't believe in those setting those rules. I don't, at least you usipeleke nani hospitali, usipeleke mtoto wako uko ama usimpeleke nini asomee hapa because wewe ni kiongozi. Hata citizens wanafaa kualawa peleka mahali unataka, but if you're a leader, you're obligated to make sure this school system is working. So let's deal with you. You can take your child there, you know, hata kama ni health yako kuko, but every money that we give you, we need to see it being used well. So tukuje kwa individually how you're using my own, what you do with your own resources is ina shida, but what you do with my resources is what matters.
So ukiongelelea kutengeneza hii education system yetu in such a way that even when one of our leaders takes their child abroad to study abroad, haina shida as long as fix the problem in his nation, in his in his education system of his own nation. So Sam, unafikiria ni what are some of the ways that can be used to reform our education system, be it 844, be it CBE, and we talked about execution before. Probably you can touch on that.
Yeah, so the best way to make sure this education system is working for us is we have good execution of the system itself. So a system is good, but if it's not executed well, it doesn't give us fruits, right? So for us to be able to execute the program well, the education system well, we need to have a good, which name can I give it? Like tukue na roho ya kutaka kuchange vitu, unaget? So we execute best. For example, there's a way you had asked me. So if our execution fails, is it the leaders or the
yes.
You know, we have to participate all of us to make sure it is executed well, because kila mtu akona different roles. Ule mkubwa akona roles zake, huyu mdogo akona roles zake, unaget. But now we really need a very good umse hapa juu. We need him to be very good. He has to be very strict, he has to be very tough on execution of the plan, because huyu akicheza hawa watu wa chini wanasema ni kama haina shida, wacha tu tucheze na job. So the top guy, I also gave you an example with Matiang'i. Matiang'i was very strict on execution of the when he introduced CBC before it became CBE. Was he the one who introduced it? So he was very strict on execution. So we need a leader who is very strict on execution of this nini. So every education system, or a good education system, is supposed to give us knowledge. There is this phrase that we usually say, education is the key to success. Education is the key to success, but a good education is the key to success. In fact, I think we should replace that statement, knowledge is the key to success. But now, the right knowledge and timely knowledge. For example, there's knowledge that was relevant to 10 years back, that kind of knowledge is not relevant right now. For example, knowledge ya zile TV za red ziko zinaitwaje Kimbali?
The red
Great Wall. Knowledge ya kubuild Great Wall is good knowledge, but is not relevant right now. You need timely or seasonal knowledge. So the work of government should be able to make sure that we have seasonal knowledge. The government should be able to make sure that the level of technology of agriculture, we have it. The highest level of production of computers, we know how to produce. Leave alone operations. Knowing how to build the current computers, know how to build the current roads, know how to build. Right now, if we want the most modern roads, we go for skills outside there. Instead of importing the skill only. You don't import the work. Train the guys to how to. For example, ukitaka kutengeneza barabara kali sai, instead ya kupea wa China, hapana, wewe peleka hawa se wala China warudishe. So unasema we are taking 100 engineers to China to be trained for 2 years how to construct a good road. Then they come back and they construct the big road. But so you import labor, you've messed up the jobs that you're supposed to give your people, you're not giving them. So, I think government doesn't have a good intention. They are not intentional about change. If they were intentional, they could only import skill. You don't import labor. Sawa. So, for example, the government has not been bothered to make sure that we know how to build these skyscrapers. They know that, politicians are the most traveled people in Kenya. They are the most traveled because they have traveling allowances. Others, they are being wanapelekwa na gavana, so they are most traveled. So they know how these things work. But they don't want to give you that knowledge because you will over. For example, do you know the richest person in the world? He is not in government. So politicians wamezoea kwa the richest people in this nation.
Kenya, yeah.
So wanajuanga we manipulate them through our money. Tukitokea kwa watu warambe na support ni, so tutaishi kuwa control. But wanajua wase wakiwa wealthy wezi control yo. Between Elon Musk na India na control gava kuliko vile gava ina mcontrol. So Kenya hawataki billionaires who arise from citizens because they will control the government. And that is what they don't want. So we need a kind of leaders who are selfless to say, sina shida. Jamaa kiamua kuwa tajiri hata kuliko gava si hatuna shida. Kwa nini si we benefit. So manze, they are not thinking that way. So we need men who will allow the education system to be executed in a way that it will achieve skills.
So those are some of the ways, some of the reformable ways that you can be looking at. Sindio? People who can. We need men. You said we need men who?
You know, Kingston.
Yes.
The Bible says the heaven belonged to God, but the earth He has given unto men. In terms of management, in terms of stewardship. So the way earth look like is not the way God planned it. Yes. It will look like the way man has planned it to look like. Right? So what I'm trying to say is that for education system to be in a way that it is favoring men, it will be how men will make it to operate.
Yeah.
So the biggest nini lies with men. Like kazi imebaki ni men to take it up and say we will shape these things to work for our nation. We will shape this education to make sure it produces a very skilled child. For example, there our government has not been able to make sure that we're bringing up the best musicians, the best instrumentalists, the best whatever best that we can produce. Imagine, do you know wakimbiaji wote wa Kenya wana representing Kenya huko nje, they are not trained by our nation. Ni wewe ungangane na mabarabara huko ukimbiange asubuhi na mkafo, unakimbia huko kama mchawi asubuhi, unajitrain wewe mwenyewe, alafu gavaiki ukienda ishinde inainua kifua inakuja you have represented our nation. They did not participate in raising you. Check at billionaires in Kenya, they have just wamengangana tu kivyao. There's no government empowerment. In fact, government, the best it does, it's sabotage.
No empowerment from the government.
Manze, instead ya create environment that it works. So ulisikia nani akisema Singapore, sijui ni Singapore ama ni nchi gani, ukitaka kuanzia biz kama tuseme ni ya 10 million, 2.5 million is given by government.
In Singapore?
I'm not sure the country. I think it's Singapore. Imagine Kenya, bro. Ukitaka kuanzia biz unapea gavado. Na imagine ile do yote utamake hapo ita create employment, watu wataanza kulipa tax. Already hiyo company itaanza kulipa tax pia enyewe, apart from wafanyikazi wake kulipa tax. So so much benefit will come back to the government and you're sabotaging it.
But sasa unaweza sema, would you blame people? Unaona venye umesema we need people to be sent to learn, be it engineers. We send our engineers, or we send our theoretical engineers to China to study about the practicability part of engineering, and then come back with those skills and apply those skills in our country. But would you blame people who go there, learn whatever they learn there, and when they come back to Kenya, they actually want to go back? So unapata hata wase walienda na wakiwa huko waka-apply vitu za kuwabakisha huko ama za kurudi huko, juu wanaona is a better life there. Huku wanarudishwa huku kufanya hizo kazi, but still the government wouldn't appreciate them as they are supposed to be appreciated. You know, that's also where the other problem comes in. Unapata hata watu wenye wamesomeshwa vizuri, wanasomeshwa vizuri, lakini watu wanalipwa bado vizuri. Ni hao politicians wanataka kujilipa tu vizuri. Mtu amesoma, huyu mwingine this other person wants to come na ajitetea aseme we are the ones who came up with the idea to send you guys there, so kuna venye mnaweza. So would you blame those guys?
You know, there's a part of independent choices, there's a part of patriotism, and there's a part of competition. For example, you know, ukienda nje alafu usikie unapata skills, unakuja kupewa tenda ya kujenga barabara ya kutoka Nairobi hadi Mombasa. Hiyo tenda unasikia sijui ni how many trillion. Bro, utakosa kuja kwa nini? So when there's business, people will come back. As long as you're giving them business, because at the end of the day ameenda Maju kufanya nini? Temeenda ku McDo. If akisikia anaweza McDo from home, acha nikwambie, hawa watu wote wameenda Maju wakisikia wanaweza make billions from Kenya, they won't go outside.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
So that's why nakwambia we need a government that is really intentional about transforming the lives of their citizens. If we are really intentional, no one will want to run away. People will just go for holidays. People, sometimes they'll go for because if you can construct a good road here, utapata pia unaweza ito kwingine mahali wajaamua ku train wao, because there will always be a nation that has not trained their people. You realize that even from the roads they're constructing in Kenya, huko umeenda umeito tena nchi nyingine ukaconstruct, na ukimaliza construct unarudi Kenya. So at the end of the day, give them business.
Yeah.
If they are skillful, give them business. Watu huenda because wako sabotage Kenya. So unapata mtu ni daktari Kenya but analipo pesa za ufala. Una get? Na hiyo pesa ufala analipo si ati juu tu na ability, ni sababu kuna watu wanakulanga pesa mingi ya health. Ya Ministry of Health. So at the end of the day, pesa iwafiki fiti sababu ya corruption. Tunakwambia the solution is mindset change and culture change. Simple.
Mindset change and culture.
Yeah, lazima, because you know mindset changes the whole system. Culture changes the whole system. So if you have a good culture of politics, we have a good culture of everything that we do. nikwambie, no one will be traveling outside to work. People will be stay here. Okay, there will be few that will travel because of just kuna factors zingine. There's different factors in the world, obviously. But now traveling because of poverty will not be an issue for us. Have you ever had someone traveling out of America because of poverty? Yet I'm watoke tu because I want to marry from Kenya. So what's the factors zingine zikuwe consider? Oh, I want to marry in Africa. Oh, I want to marry in Egypt. Oh, I want to marry a Jew from which country. So because I've had Jews, what's hizo factors zingine zi apply za kutravel na kuhama, but isikuwe poverty because poverty has been solved.
Yeah. And as you also said, a selfless, maybe tunaweza tu add selfless culture and a selfless mindset. Kwa sababu ulianza na kusema we need,
that's a big word, bro. Yes. Do you know that word only can solve our Kenyan problems? Imagine selflessness na selfishness. You utoe selfishness will replace na selflessness. You imagine that one word change the whole nation. One word. Like kila mtu aseme manze tumechoka kuibiana hata sisi. Tumechoka kutafuta viti sababu ya interest za tumbo zetu. Unakumbuka time fulani hii imemza nguruwe ziko zimetrend. Nguruwe. Wana politician wa Kenya walikuwa wanapewa kichwa nguruwe.
Yeah, nakumbuka.
Unakumbuka? Because I was a tamaa walikuwa. Any our MPs they can just go sit there. Me, I don't understand Kenyan leaders. Ni kama wamerogwa. Mondro anasemanga these are sick people in the head. They are sick. So most of our politicians are sick people in the head. You know why? How do I pay your sitting allowance to do your job? So sasa ni kuchore job nikwambie mimi ukikuwa kwa hiyo podcast na kulipa 1 million. Then ukikuja hapo kila time unakaa na kupea allowance ya kukaa hapo, bro. So that's our Kenyan politician and MPs. So they have a salary, then when they sit in parliament,
they have a sitting allowance. You have an allowance.
These are sick people.
You haven't even done your job. Just an allowance.
Kwanza unaongea yangi. Na ukiongea unaongea matope. Imagine. Nini? Alafu politicians wakiwa wanapenda kujigunga kifua jo. They are proud.
And I think jo kuongelea hivyo, your pride, I think one of the ways that tunaweza solve hizi issues zetu as a nation is also not love for thyself, but love for thy nation, love for thy people.
Yeah.
Unajua hata honestly tukiangalia the countries that are doing well, ni jua watu wanajipenda. Ukiangalia hata wazungu, when you look at the whites, those people love themselves to a point that wanakuja huku, they take raw materials, they go to their industry,
they build their nations,
and then they come back and sell.
But our leaders, they help them get those resources. Yeah. So kiongozi wa Kenya akiambiwa I'll give you 10 million so that you allow me to take gold from Kenya. They allow that. So I'll use two scriptures ya kusaidia kupaint something
as we wrap it up.
Yes. So imagine kwa Bible inasema love your neighbor as you love yourself. Then inasema your interest you should put your someone interest above yourself. So kizangalia, even in terms of love, you love the other person as you love yourself. In terms of interest, you're supposed to value the other person's interest above your
own.
So kiza tumia tu hiyo scripture peke yake, hizo mbili peke yake, hizo tu ya interest na ya love, already ina make sure a nation is doing well. Because ukifikiria kuiba kitu unasema no, I love Kingston as I love myself, so I would still acha ika hapo tukutumia wote. Ukifikiria in terms of interest ni ya mwingine ni above yako, imagine. So ukifikiria useme an opportunity, unafikiria wacha Kingston apate kwanza before mimi. Nakumbuka Kingston yeye anatumia the same mindset, so yeye pia anaangalia yangu above yake. So mimi nikiketa for your needs, so naketa for my needs. So I don't have to think about myself. Imagine that's how everything should be able to work. I don't think about myself, I think about you. You know, you don't think about yourself, you think about me. Si kila mtu ako sawa.
Hatutakuwa na shida tukifanya hivyo. Hatutakuwa na shida at all.
So mwanasiasa akifikiria interest zetu, si tuko tu hapo tunafikiria zake.
That's very true. Kama venye tulianza na kusema, if at all mwanasiasa anaweza kubali kutolipwa, kutokuwa na hizi privileges zote zenye honestly they're not so unnecessary, then hata huyu mtu wake, mwananchi wake atamwangalia
vitu. Imagine
venye ulianza na kusema it's the same thing yenye umesema.
Hebu imagine sasa bro, president akuwa ananga hakuna chakula inapikanga kwake. Unajua naweza mwanga tu nakula kwa watu tu kila siku.
Unakumbuka brother unye? Unakumbuka ule boy? Si alikuwa anaitwa kuitwa. Si alikuwa anasalimiwa kusalimiwa. Na si prezo.
Unajua prezo tu ukipita mahali mtu anachoma mahindi useme unakula mahindi ya bure utakula. Ndio. Wewe bezi ya nyama useme unataka nyama ya bure, bezi ya mturu utakula bure. So imagine a president can survive without zero salary. Najipata yako na more than what na salary.
But now in our country wamezoea. Sasa hata ukienda if you ever go to as a president, if you ever go to a shop for some, to be offered something for free, because of how badly our politicians have ruined their reputation. Juu wameonyesha politician ni mtu mwenye ako na pesa, kwa hivyo hakuna vinyani zapatiwa kitu ya free. Imagine hapo ndo tumefikishwa our own politicians wafanya kitu. Anyway,
this is our nation.
Yes
manze, I think we'll continue from next time, but as my parting shot, then you finish. So my parting shot is that we need to know who we are. The fact that we're all created by God, we all come from God, right? And when God created man, he said, I am creating you in my own image and likeness. The word image there, Kingston, is to mean character, right? The word likeness is to mean functionality. So you are created to function like God. We were created to have the likeness of God, the image of God, character and functionality. So in terms of excellence, you're supposed to operate like the way God operates. God came on earth and he demonstrated one thing, that loving the other person is actually even sacrificing yourself. Jesus, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. So he denied himself the throne. He denied himself authority and power and all these things. He reduced himself to be able to accommodate you. And Jesus was the best leader that ever existed on earth, and is now the leader that's leading the whole universe. He's the King of Kings, and he's the one that is in charge of everything and all creation. So the best leader that ever existed demonstrated that I love you more than I love myself. So he demonstrated that kind of thing. So imagine that's how we are supposed to operate. Like him. So let's look at let's look at the example of Jesus and let's follow it, and we will not miss it. So for everyone that claims that Jesus is their Lord, make sure your character is like that one, like of the Lord Jesus Christ. Your parting shot for me, I'm done.
Thank you. My parting shot would be was tulianzia 844. Remember, we started from our 844 system. We wanted to see the benefits and the demerits of our education system, and therefore what we have learned from sharing about all this is, and it's what I've borrowed from you, Sam, as well. Even as for the leaders who know what they need to do, the ones who are at the very top of the chain, you know what you need to do in order for you guys to make things right in our country. For the students who are depending on the education system set and led by you, please be selfless leaders. Please emulate the love of Christ. Venye tu Sama ametuambia, just emulate the love of, your identity. If the Ecclesia community speaks about identity, it speaks about mindset, it speaks about culture. We've spoken about have a selfless culture. May we teach you as the leaders, teach the people. Amani Sam.
Yes.
Let our leaders teach our people to have a selfless culture, to have a selfless mindset,
Yes.
And to have a Christ-like identity.
True.
Don't seek your own identity. Don't seek a self-identity, but seek a Christ-like identity.
Very
yes,
true.
That's my parting shot.
Awesome, man. Hey, yani kali.
Thank you.
From us, man, see you next time. This is Ecclesia Kenya, and we're all about identity.